Welcome to MuggleCast, your weekly ride into the Wizarding World fandom, and this is episode 500! Woo!
Love the sound effects, guys.
Pew, pew, pew! Woo, woo! Yes, this is a milestone episode of MuggleCast, and we're going to celebrate today by reviewing the show by the numbers, and then we're going to get you ready for Valentine's Day. We're going to share our favorite Harry Potter-themed pickup lines. And we're also going to play a couple games as well. So today's
I love the way
theme...
you said that. You kind of slowed down the way you were talking there, and you're like, yeah, pick up line.
Well, that's my hint to y'all. Everybody should deliver these in a sexy way for Valentine's Day.
No problem, Andrew.
Micah has the sexiest voice in podcasting. We've established this over the years for sure. So yeah, let's look at MuggleCast by the numbers. We have the number 118. That's the number of times Umbridge sucked during our show's history.
Not enough.
What a way to start the list.
2,356. That's the number of people who have pledged to our Patreon over its lifetime. Thank you, listeners, for doing that.
That's amazing.
It's a pretty incredible number.
You guys rock.
This is the 5th year of our Patreon, you guys. We started it 5 years ago and like a week.
And like I said, during $4.99, it's only because of our Patreon that we are at episode 500 today.
That's right.
43,722. Now, we've already posted this one on social media, and some people were guessing this is the number of minutes of MuggleCast.
Wow.
But that's not true. This is the number of emails we've received from listeners since November 2006. So a lot of feedback.
Wow.
I've responded to all of them.
I was going to say, should we each take like 8,000 and start replying to people? Is this is unread? This is read? What is this?
Yeah. This is all. This is everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. We've had mugglecast@gmail.com since November 2006. And we've never deleted a single email, so they're all in there. We should, for fun someday, just go back into the inbox and go to like June 2007 and see what people were emailing us about, and then read those emails on air and finally answer them.
That's a great idea. I think in our next mailbag episode, we should pull one from way back and we should answer it legit.
Yeah, let's do that every month, every time we do a Muggle Mail episode. And now an email we never got to 13 years ago.
Love it.
Okay, next number, tens of millions.
Wow, that's a strict number there. Very specific.
This is the number of downloads MuggleCast has received over the years. We don't have an exact number because MuggleCast has been hosted on numerous platforms over the years, and we don't have access to all those platforms anymore. But it's safe to say, I know just on our current platform, we've had well over 10 million downloads. And during MuggleCast's most popular years, we've probably reached over 100 million downloads at this point, I would think. Yeah.
I'm just thinking back to episode 100 that you all did in London. And I do remember whether it was that episode or 101, which was the analysis of Deathly Hallows episode. This was back when it was first released. It had over 100,000 downloads.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can only imagine what they have now.
Well, because think about that period of time. It was really before social media blew up. So you could discuss the book on MuggleNet, but where were you getting like really fun reactions to the book? MuggleCast and other Harry Potter podcasts were a great resource at that time.
You're right. There wasn't that. I mean, I don't think there were like YouTube channels the way there are YouTube channels today.
Right. Yeah.
Certainly not by like any of the major, like, like BuzzFeed or even Nerdist, it was like, I think that we really covered a lot of that ground for people.
Yeah. 773. What number is this, Eric?
It's an area code in Chicago, Illinois. 773 is the number of times that we said the word pickle on MuggleCast in the episodes that we have transcripts for. Of course, this count is always going up. Right. I would actually guess, I think, Andrew, you're right. Like, it probably diminished after Pickle Pack was a thing. We probably stopped saying it so many times after that.
Right.
But we keep saying it. Eventually we'll get Pickle to the same tens of millions number.
You're at least at 776 right now, Eric.
Exactly.
Right.
Pickle.
This is just funny that we chose the word pickle versus Harry or Hogwarts or magic.
But Pickle was a running joke on the show. That's why I thought it
know.
was a good one.
Yeah, I do wonder of this 773, how many of these are instances of Andrew saying, "Hello, Potter Pickles"?
Maybe,
Well,
once, maybe twice.
Well, the very first one. So if anyone wants to listen to episode 54 of MuggleCast, that was the one where Andrew stunned the world by calling us all pickles. And it's right at the beginning of the show. So that's how you can figure it out.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if people know this, but since we're talking about Pickle Pack, Andrew really created the precursor to Patreon way before its time.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for giving me credit again. I don't know if I was really the one who came up with the idea for Pickle Pack, but I'll take the credit. Sure.
Just run with it.
How much was it? Was it $25 for 1 year?
30.
It was 30.
Yep.
Okay, it was $30 a year. We had over like 140 people do that, right?
Probably even more. No?
Probably more.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was our membership to MuggleCast. And we did video blogs there. We sent everybody a t-shirt, a letter. I'm sure we posted other things. We had a special site, picklepack.com, and you logged into it. It was really, we did a great job on that.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I
it
wish
was
we
ahead of
hadn't
its
password
time.
protected it because I can't get into it on the Wayback Machine. I really want to see
Oh.
it.
I hope that my blogs are like banished into the abyss because I just feel like it would be so cringy to
Laura,
look back
you're-
on that.
Oh,
Your blickles.
My blickles,
Blickles.
excuse me, my blickles.
I have old hard drives with some of the blickles.
Ugh. No,
But
burn them.
I know I've debated putting them up on Patreon for the last 5 years. I still haven't done it because it's like they are cringe.
You should
They're
post
bad.
one. I think people would be interested.
Yeah, I'll find one of the better ones. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next number. 151,384. I don't know how to say big numbers.
Apparently.
God help us once we hit episode 100,000. The number of followers across social media.
Did you remember to include our LinkedIn?
No, I didn't.
So the numbers even higher.
151,385.
Yeah. Micah, thank you for connecting with us on LinkedIn.
We have 191 followers there. So hold on. 151,384 plus 191. Okay, updated
No,
number.
no.
151,575. That's the number of followers on social media.
Nice.
Okay.
Did you include YouTube?
Oh no, darn it.
Did you include Parlor?
Nope. I can't access that number because it is shut down. Okay. Plus 786 on YouTube. So that's 152,361. Any
By the way,
others?
this is
No, we're
this is just a rundown. Like this is a good
MySpace?
rundown for the listeners of all the places that we are on social media. Like the MuggleCast YouTube, for instance, has things you've never seen before.
Actually, MySpace is a good one, Micah. I don't know if you can access that anymore, but I bet
You
we
know-
had a lot of followers on MySpace back in the
Yeah,
day.
because that was really what was around at the time, right? I mean, Facebook
Yeah.
was, but Twitter was just coming online, and then obviously Instagram much later. But I do kind of wonder what our following would have been like if these platforms had existed in full back when we were, in our heyday.
Yeah. Probably much, much larger.
Millions.
Yeah. I know we had at least one friend on MySpace. That was MySpace Tom.
Right.
Miss that guy. So
He's on Twitter now.
is he?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to add one to our number of followers in tribute to Tom. So that's
Oh.
the grand total is 152,362. All right, 0. That's the number of times the author of Harry Potter has been on the show. Sad, but also not crazy sad anymore.
Yeah, it's fine.
We have had authors on the show, in fairness, just not that author.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, so this next one, I want y'all to guess. The number of minutes of MuggleCast.
Okay, I have a question.
Ah.
Is this all MuggleCast ever, or is it only core episodes?
I'm focused on core episodes only. I deleted the minis and the leaky mugs from my playlist to calculate
Okay.
this total.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to say 50,000.
I just did a little bit of math. 500 episodes, and I guess the average is about 78 minutes or an hour 18. So I'm saying 39,000.
I'm going to go in the 40s. I'll go 45,000.
All right. Well, if we're playing Price is Right rules, you all lose because you all went over. The tally I have, but Eric was very close. 38,079 minutes. That's over 26 days if you played them start to finish.
Well, speaking of big projects, we actually solicited, so not for the first, but the second time, we asked listeners, specifically our patrons this time, to help us with the biggest project of them all, which was to go through. So we've released these next statistics one time before. It was either for episode 250 or 300 or something like that. But we actually went through, we had listeners and patrons listen to our episodes and tell us who among the hosts was on each episode.
Whoever's number one gets 3 months off.
That would allow the rest of us to catch up, Andrew.
Yeah, there you go.
The award for near perfect attendance coming in at 400. Now, this includes today because I just went and updated the spreadsheet when we started recording. But for the most attendance, Andrew Sims at 479 episodes of MuggleCast.
Woo-hoo! Thank you to myself for having plenty of time on my hands to rarely miss an episode of the show.
I mean, think about that, though. That's over 16 years. You were only not here for 21 recorded episodes of MuggleCast.
Yeah.
And the rest of us, it's not close. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy.
I did have like a 10 episode head start compared to y'all, but
no, that's true.
so what are the other numbers here?
Okay, well, yeah, I will say too that that is just superb. And in many of the chances, or many of the times when you missed an episode, you still edited that episode.
My dedication to the show just knows no bounds.
So, well, coming in next is, just really the most consistent dude who's not Andrew, and it's not me. It is Micah. Micah came in at 429 episodes of MuggleCast.
Congratulations, Micah.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, through thick and thin, you were just always there when the rest of us were gallivanting around New Zealand and missing episodes left and right. You could be counted on.
So
Yes.
I have a year on everybody else. Because there's like a gap of 60 episodes, it sounds like?
Well,
dang.
One thing I think we should just take into consideration here, and I appreciate being the runner-up, but the runner-up is just the first loser. So,
Man, Andrew, he's coming for you. You got
no, the one thing I will say is it was mentioned that not all of us were there at the very beginning. And not only that, we used to rotate hosts early on.
Yeah.
Whereas
Except for me, apparently.
believe
I was
Andrew-
like...
No, but you, Ben, and Kevin usually were always on the episode, from what I remember.
That tracks, yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. But yeah, we did have a panel of 7 at one point, I think. So we really needed to rotate everybody out. It was just too big of a panel.
Oh, yeah. And I remember when we tried to have everyone on, it was just a disaster.
Yeah. And an editing nightmare. So I'm glad.
I used to put a little period into Skype or something like that. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
What?
When it's your
We
turn
wanted-
to talk.
When we wanted to talk.
Gosh.
Yeah, and then wasn't it Ben renamed me to douche, and then so it said douche said period when I wanted to talk or something.
That sounds
Not
like
surprising.
Old trauma gets relived. Well, Micah, you did us no favors by framing the runner-up as the next loser, because I'm going to keep going.
The first loser. The first
loser. Yeah. Okay. The second loser, then, the next runner-up is me. You guys, this is my 400th episode of MuggleCast.
Oh, wow. What beautiful timing.
Beautiful timing. So I've been on 80% of all episodes. I'm thrilled to be here. And just behind me,
The third
at
loser.
238 episodes is Laura.
Yep. I quit for several years and then came
Right.
back. That's
Quit's not
yeah.
the right word. It's you were
Well-
off on other adventures.
Yeah. I was like, I graduated and I was like, oh, I'm moving to Costa Rica. I'm not going to be able, I'm going to be teaching. I'm just not going to have the time for podcasting. So I think I emailed you, Andrew, and I was like, I think I'm going to have to bow out of everything.
Yeah. That was
It
a dark
sad
time.
day.
I missed seeing Laura's periods in the Skype chat.
But okay,
The show
out of
lost
context.
its voice of reason. It
Oh.
lost its direction.
Yeah, well, it was about 100 episodes ago that Laura became permanent again.
Yep.
So, congrats, Laura. And then, here's some other fun numbers, because we're now getting into the territory of hosts that are no longer regular on the show. So the next highest numbers are Ben Shane has 98 episodes. Jamie just behind him at 87. Kevin's been on 54 episodes. Oh, Matt Britton is right in there. 72 episodes for Matt. And then Mikey B at 36 episodes and Elisa at 14.
All right. Wow. Well, I'm going to be off for the next year to give you guys a chance to catch up. All right. So we have another game here related to the history of the show. Eric, you were looking back at the episode titles, right?
Yeah, part of the fun of doing this spreadsheet was I actually did the guests a favor. Or I actually did the listeners a favor this time, and I went and put the episodes in. Originally, I was, when we first sourced this, I said, give me the episode number, or I did the episode number. I said, give me the episode title as well as when it came out. We did that. I did that work this time with Meg. But so I have these old episode titles, and I want to quiz you guys on what you think the correct title of MuggleCast was. Episode title 1, His Mother's Blank. Your choices are his mother's eyes, his mother's hair, his mother's makeup, his mother's ankles.
Yeah, and I'll just add, we had some really weird episode titles back in the day. That's part of the fun of this segment. We don't do this anymore because for potential new listeners or current listeners, you're looking at these and you're like, I have no clue what this is about. Why do I want to listen to this?
Yeah, none of the episode titles that I found fun enough to pull are from before or from after 402. Like, I didn't
That's
even
when we
look at the
changed.
400s.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
I-
all
it
about
was-
the SEO, right, Andrew?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I'm going to say his mother's ankles because his mother's eyes is too serious. We were probably trying to have fun, so saying
Yeah.
ankles.
It's funny because I feel a strong sense that the answer is ankles.
Well, that's the thing. It's dormant. It's like in our repressed memory, right?
Exactly. I'm going to agree. I'm going to go with D, ankles.
You guys are all correct.
Woohoo!
Yeah, this was
It's
episode.
like one of us wrote it.
Well, yeah, this is
One of us
episode
probably did.
032. Episode 32.
What happened in this episode to make us call it this?
I'm going to say Ben or Jamie and just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Order of blank. Is it fries? Order of Micah? Order of toast? And order of canon?
I'm going to say fries. We were probably talking about Order of the Phoenix, and somebody accidentally said fries or something.
I'm going
have a
with the
strong-
Order of Micah.
Yeah, I have a strong sense that it's Micah.
The force is strong with Laura this morning.
Yep.
Or is it?
It sure is. It's Order of Micah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, that's episode 211.
Look at all these repressed memories coming back.
Okay, next title, blank 2009. Is it Azcatraz 2009? Cascada 2009?
Jesus.
Best of 2009. We had some functional titles even back then. Best of,
Mm-hmm.
year in review, or Bob Fail 2009.
I'm going with Bob Fail.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Bob Fail.
Yeah.
It's too random. I wouldn't have come up with that alone.
Yeah. Agreed.
Do you guys remember why Bob Fail? Who
Was
we
there like
were
a
watching?
Bob on the set of one of the movies?
I think so.
And we were like, that's a Bob Fail. It says in the show notes, the term Bob Fail is created on the show as Micah tells the story of putting a USA Today writer in his place. So maybe a USA Today writer like wrote something
What?
incorrect about a Harry Potter movie or book.
I do not remember doing that, but nice. I'll have to go back and listen.
Okay, next title, Fluffy and the blank. Fluffy and the hydrant. Fluffy and the poke flute. Fluffy and the sax solo. And Fluffy and the pillow.
I
It's
think
the
it's
poke
B.
flute.
Yeah.
Pokey
Yeah.
flute. Yeah.
Of course, it's the poke flute.
Well, the reason I remember that is because I want to say that we made comparisons to Snorlax and waking
Yes,
Snorlax up the way, or waking Fluffy up the way you wake Snorlax up.
definitely.
Quite apt. This is a hard one intentionally. Spiders, vampires, blank, and wizards. kind of a long title.
This
Yeah,
is a hard one.
I don't know.
Yeah. Is it books, lords, werewolves, or centaurs?
I'm going to say werewolves.
I'll go with
I'll do centaurs.
centaurs. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, we're all wrong.
All right.
The correct answer,
Finally.
and Laura and Micah were on this episode. I checked.
So we
no
should remember.
excuses. Yeah.
It's episode 139. I was not on it. I can't say why it's called that. But Spiders, Vampires, Lords, and Wizards was the correct title.
Okay. No
I'm
clue
just-
why
I'm just
I'd
glad that-
titled that. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that. Well, you probably discussed, creepy things.
I guess so.
And it
Like
sounds like we
lords.
were trying to come up with a more serious title.
It was the beginning of search engine optimization. It's like, what can we do? Let's talk about it. Okay. Second to last game here. It's game round. Midnight blank. Midnight sun, S-O-N. Ha 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 ha. Midnight spells. Midnight squib. Midnight serenade. Serenade.
I'm going to say Sun, S-O-N. Maybe it was a Twilight reference to Midnight, S-U-N.
I'm going to say squib.
Yeah, that's what I'm drawn to as well. And I don't know why.
Well, it's right. Midnight Squib, episode 263. You guys are good at this game.
It's because we know ourselves. Like we're looking back 15 years ago and like thinking about what we thought was funny at the time.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that was March 27th, 2013. So 8 years ago.
Oh, I wasn't even on that then.
But you
How do I
still know
know
us
this?
well.
Yeah, it was Andrew, Ben, me, and Micah. Okay, so this next one and the last one, round 7 of this game, Laura has appeared in the title of MuggleCast episodes multiple times. So the question now is, which one of these is not a MuggleCast title? So the title is Laura blank. Is it Laura, or which one is it not? Laura questions, Laura pants, Laura leaves, and Laura Gambin.
Okay, so we all know, yeah, Laura's pants is real. I know that I'm pretty sure Laura Gambin is real because
Yeah, I think so.
I've been like the staunch defender of Michael Gambin for years.
And we were like, why don't you marry him?
Yeah, and I was
Probably.
like, okay. I don't know.
I'm going to say C.
Would
Because
we
I don't know
have-
that we'd be as direct to be like,
Leaves.
Laura's gone.
Yeah.
But
because
like,
Laura's
would we-
questions rings a bell for me too. So I'm going to say leaves as well.
yeah. I also just feel like that would be such a weird title. So yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
give a C.
Well, I actually just looked this up, and like the last major episode you were on before big hiatus was 187 Magic is Muscle, or 181 Nothing Less Than Ultimate. These titles are not any less of like weird than Laura Leaves. But anyway, yes. So episode 79 of MuggleCast is Laura Gambin. Episode 97 is Laura's Pants. There's actually a Laura's Pants part 2, like 100 episodes later.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm sure.
115 is Laura's Questions. We did not have an episode titled Laura Leaves, and I'll tell you what, I pray to God that we never do.
Aw, shucks.
That was fun.
All right, we do have some news to get to today, but before that, I wanted to share a quick word about one of my favorite sponsors, Third Love. I've been wearing Third Love's bras for a couple of years now, and I am obsessed. I honestly didn't believe that it was possible for a bra to be supportive, comfortable, and attractive until I tried on my first 24/7 perfect coverage bra from Third Love. Every Third Love bra is made with signature memory foam cups, no slip straps, and a scratch-free band, all available in cups AA through I, including half cups and bands in 30 through 48. And you've heard me talk about the Fit Finder quiz. Well, now Third Love has launched the Fitting Room, a new and improved version of the quiz we all love. The quiz focuses on size, breast shape, current fit issues, and your personal style to deliver bras and underwear that are perfect for you. This is better than the traditional bra fitting experience because you can do it from the comfort and convenience of your own home. Third Love knows there's a perfect bra for everyone, so right now they're offering our listeners 20% off your first order. Go to thirdlove.com/MuggleCast to find your perfect fitting bra and get 20% off your first purchase. That's thirdlove.com/MuggleCast for 20% off today.
All right, so a bit of news before we get to some Valentine's Day related content. Just wanted to mention that Fantastic Beasts 3 has actually paused filming again after a cast member tested positive for COVID. Now, interestingly, they were seemingly only a couple days away from finishing, and there's rumors it may have been an actual cast member and maybe a prominent cast member who tested positive for COVID. It's kind of crazy that they were so close to finishing filming and then had to pause. So now the movie's going to be pushed back another year.
August 2025.
This is their lost episode.
So now that we're approaching Valentine's Day, we thought we could have a little fun and get people ready for the Hallmark holiday. Maybe your loved one is really into Harry Potter, or maybe you want to meet somebody who loves Harry Potter as much as you do. And how do you do that? You prepare some Harry Potter pickup lines. We found our favorites. If you like any of these, feel free to write them down. But I'm going to set the mood first.
Yeah.
You must be a snitch, because I've been seeking you my whole life.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, you must play Quidditch. I know a keeper when I see one.
You're what a Mortentia smells like to me.
You know you don't have to say Lumos to turn me on.
Did you just use the stupefy charm? Or are you a natural stunner?
Are you a Dementor? Because you take my breath away.
Baby, are you a Horcrux? 'Cause you've got a piece of my soul.
You don't need Expelliarmus. Your smile's disarming enough.
I am very interested in exploring your Chamber of Secrets.
Oh my god.
What?
Well done.
I knew that had to be in there somewhere.
Yeah, I know. It's just that's a
the
throwback.
mild version of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really
Yeah, the
is.
other one's what mind if I slither in?
Basilisk, yeah. Is this the Hogwarts Express? Because it feels like you and I are headed somewhere magical.
On a scale of 9 to 10, you're 9 3/4.
If I heard that one, I'd be like, what is stopping you from calling me?
What can I do for that other 1/4?
Yeah.
It is one of those pickup lines that's like lightly insulting.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
When I look into the mirror of Erised, I see you giving me your number.
My love for you burns like a dying phoenix.
If I wear my invisibility cloak, could I visit your restricted section tonight?
Oh my god. Girl, you're finer than the difference between a hex and a curse.
I need a happy memory to conjure a Patronus. Will you kiss me real quick?
You may be a muggle, but that body is magical.
Hagrid's not the only giant on campus, if you catch my drift.
I like the extra if you catch my drift. Yeah, we definitely know where you're going with
we
that.
got it. Yeah, we got it. And this episode now has an R rating. Thank you very much.
I may not be the boy who lived, but I can still be your chosen one.
Oh, you said that all hopeful at the end there.
I tried to pick G-rated items because I knew you guys were going to get dirty.
Me too. You know, when I said Accio Hottie, I didn't think it would actually work. Girl, are you a Death Eater? Because Azka damn.
Yeah, we do try to be family friendly on the show. When I was looking for pickup lines, oh my gosh, there are some hilarious ones that are really inappropriate. Maybe another time we'll do those.
Maybe bonus MuggleCast.
Yeah. Behind the paywall. Well, I thought that we could, in recognition of Valentine's Day, talk about some of the most popular alternate universe or headcanon Harry Potter ships. A ship refers to a relationship. This is very big in the fan fiction community. If you're sorting through different original stories, you can look based on the ship. And I picked a few of the most popular ones for us to talk about. But I thought that we could consider them and think about where in the series their turning point could have been to actually make these relationships a reality.
Okay.
I love this.
So we're going to start with Draco and Harry. This is one of the most popular ones.
Yes.
On its face, it definitely seems like one that is kind of hard to imagine. Because
How
you're like,
dare you?
What do you mean? How dare
No,
me?
go ahead.
Oh, Draco, because Draco's really horrible to Harry throughout the series.
Yeah, they hate each other.
Yeah, they hate each other. But you know what they say? Thin line between love and hate, I guess.
And opposites attract and any number of used phrases.
Something that I've seen represented in some fan fiction is Harry developing more of an awareness that Draco is just another victim of the Wizarding War. And we definitely see this in the books. But I think that this represents how, a turning point for Harry and Draco could be Harry realizing at the end of Half-Blood Prince that he actually doesn't have the capacity to kill anyone, and he's just in way over his head. And then also Draco refusing to turn Harry over in Deathly Hallows, even though he knew it was him.
Something I'm also thinking about is, especially in the later books, Draco's having a rough time, killing Dumbledore, that little thing, and then, doing what Voldemort and his father want him to do. And I actually think in a weird way, him and Harry could kind of bond over their struggles.
Yeah.
Why not?
Draco wants to be a good guy at the end of the day. He does get redeemed. And that redemption maybe could have started a little sooner with the help of Harry.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like Draco doesn't quite get the redemption arc that I think some people were hoping he was going to get.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we see that he and Harry nod at each other in acknowledgement at, King's Cross in the epilogue, but there's never a moment of true sort of acknowledgement, I guess, until Cursed Child, when Draco's teaming up with the trio.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's only so much acknowledgement you can have and self-awareness at 17. So the only time they were going to get it was at the epilogue. But I think Draco, after the events of Book 7, would have realized how much of a shit he was to Harry and may have, shown up and apologized in a big way.
I would hope so.
It was fan fiction that really convinced me that this ship was plausible and had merit, even in, within the years of Hogwarts if they're dating. There's some good dreary fic out there.
Yeah.
I like, Andrew, what you said about them bonding over their circumstances, particularly as it relates to Voldemort. Both are, I mean, Draco's being used by Voldemort, and then Harry obviously has a fight ahead of him against Voldemort. So the two of them could have potentially worked together.
Yeah.
And then, Laura, you mentioned the saving him in Deathly Hallows. If he doesn't, Draco probably dies in that room.
Yeah.
And
100%.
So, I mean, a whole saving each other thing. Narcissa saves Harry at the end of Deathly Hallows. So there's a lot for them to talk about.
After Harry saved Draco, Draco could have been on a scale of 1 to 10, you're at 9 3/4.
Oh my God.
I will say there is a lot of fan fiction where after Hogwarts, because there's also a thing about only having of age characters too in fanfic. So a lot of it is set place after Hogwarts. But there's a lot of fanfic where Harry goes to America and he's in a Starbucks and he recognizes the server, the barista, and it's Draco. Yeah.
I have never read this fanfic.
Give me one of those.
Absolutely a thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what? as part of his redemption arc, Draco is like, I'm going to go work
With
a
muggles.
Muggle service industry job.
I guess so.
I mean,
Oh
I
my
would
gosh.
read this. It
Sign
sounds
me
very
up.
Yeah, but it's like,
interesting.
because it's like the love in unexpected places, right? So Harry's on a
Yeah.
work trip or something, and then he's like, "Oh, Draco, I haven't thought about you in like years. What have you been up to?"
Wow.
Yeah, I think it
Definitely
could
worth
also, something like this could be interesting because it does speak to, I think, what's something that's really common for all of us, which is that everyone grows up, including our childhood bullies. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
if anyone's ever run into a high school bully, now 15 years after we've all been out of school and
Yeah.
realize, oh, they're pretty much just a normal human being at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So it speaks to the ability of growth and improvement.
It's kind of like they survived Hogwarts together. It's like, because Hogwarts itself is such a security nightmare.
And they're like, let's send our kids there.
It's still the only school. It's the best education they're going to get.
Right. So moving on to this one, and I'm going to be honest with you, this is one that I really never gotten. But I don't want to disparage it because I know that there are people who have feelings about it. Dramione, Draco/Hermione.
Mm.
This is one that I always found it kind of hard to get on board with, just because not only does he bully her, but he uses like blood status slurs against her. And it's just really hard for me to see how, at least in a school setting, these two would be able to get past that. Not to say it couldn't happen, but
Yeah. Again,
It
they
just-
hate each other, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, how are these two things like? I will say, I've said this before, and I think there's some kind of understanding that Draco and Hermione are nearly equals academically.
mhm.
I think it's based on that line Lucius says to Draco in Porgan and Burke about, you let this muggle-born girl exceed you in academia, but in your tests. But if that's true, then Draco is actually probably a hard-working student. And so there's a line of similarity between the two of them. He is certainly a git. He is certainly very vile, actually, with his criticisms. But I can see it working, especially in sort of the way the fanfic takes it. They kind of, I don't want to say they gloss over it, but he kind of ends up being a more charismatic, rich, sassy Ron character. Like he's wittier than Ron. He's higher class than Ron, and so his sarcasm and his insults are seen as more as having more weight and being more playful, and it kind of the way that like you throw rocks at the girl you love kind of a thing. That's the Draco Hermione thing for me.
I do think Draco is a very smart kid. It's just not highlighted much in the books because
Agreed.
other elements of him have to be focused on. So
Right.
I could see Draco and Hermione getting along from an academic perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this
Do you
state
think,
class,
though-
am I right?
It's study buddies.
Study buddies, yeah.
Do you think, though, a lot of that pairing was born out of the films versus the books, or was it always there? Laura may know.
There are definitely a lot of influence from before the movies in the fan fiction community for this one. There's also a lot of influence for Snape and Hermione from like pre-movies, which
What?
is very uncomfortable
Yeah.
and why it was not included in this list. But I think that these pairings speak to maybe some taboos. And also perhaps the Hermione and Draco pairing specifically speaks to people trying to give Draco his redemption arc through a relationship with Hermione.
Mhm.
Which like I don't love because it's not her job to save him.
Right.
That's his
Right.
job. But I get it. I understand why it exists. And
Oh, yeah.
I would love to hear from some Dramione shippers to tell us a little more about this, because I'm sure it's more than just that,
Yeah.
There's always that angle, though, too, right? Of the girl being with the bad boy, but Draco isn't really the bad boy. He's just kind of a douche.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, if they were adults and this was modern day, we'd be like, "Oh, honey, he like called you a racial slur." Like, no, you got to dump it. You got to do nothing. Don't even f's with that. You're much better. But actually, no, I remember this. I saw Emma Watson actually had a crush on Tom Felton when they were filming the first couple movies.
That's why I asked about the movie piece.
Yeah. She revealed on the Jonathan Ross show, she says she had a big crush on Tom Felton when she was a preteen. Here's a quote. "Between the ages of 10 and 12, I had a really terrible crush on Tom Felton. We love a bad guy, and he was a few years older, and he had a skateboard."
Ooh, a skateboard.
Yeah, you know what, though? Like, these people were all, like, pre-adolescent and growing up together, so I'm sure they all had crushes on each other at some point.
Yeah,
True.
I agree.
Speaking of one that I think it did exist pre-movies, but I think the movies really exaggerated its influence, Harmony, which is Harry/Hermione. Obviously, in the movies, they picked up on something that could have been possible when Harry and Hermione were living alone in the tent. Which, I'm not mad at it, but it definitely felt more like they were picking up on the strong chemistry that Dan and Emma had, as opposed to this really being a Harry and Hermione thing.
Yeah. And I think in the books, when you read the books, you really feel, you start to love Hermione. And I think that depending on how you read the books and how you see Ron's character, you wanted to end up with somebody better than Ron. And so Harry's right there. And in this friend group, you can have I think people just developed a preference. And, if they weren't as sympathetic to Ron, seeing how he just needed some support and was, really funny, you kind of put her with Harry instead as you're reading the books for the first time. Let's not forget.
The assumption as a reader was always that Hermione was going to end up either with Harry or Ron.
Right.
I think that was like always a safe bet. So like you said, Eric, it was like personal preference, and there weren't hints very strongly either way, I don't think. It was just kind of like a coin toss.
Yeah.
There were pretty strong hints with Ron and Hermione. That was
early on? Well, maybe in the later books.
Well, the Yule Ball, right? She says, "Next time, muster up the courage to ask me yourself."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first big one. And just honestly, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong or if other people feel differently, if you have different interpretations, but I just genuinely, in the original source material of these books, I never got a vibe that there was any interest between these two. Not to say that there aren't ways that you could make that work in fan fiction. I definitely think that you can. And I think it's a valid pairing for people to like, just because Harry and Hermione do have so much in common. They're both pretty mature. And, they showed in book 7 how well they can work together. Right. So I think you can make the argument that these two would maybe have a healthier relationship than Ron and Hermione.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm trying to remember, what movie is it where Harry is having the conversation with Dumbledore about Hermione? Dumbledore brings her up.
Oh.
And he basically passes on it and just says, "Oh, we're friends," or "She's like a sister," or something to that effect.
I think he's like, "Oh, well, that Granger girl I've seen you with," and he's like, no, sir, gonna nag that." Because wasn't there a line, that was how we found out Dumbledore was gay, or Steve Clovis found it out first, because there was this line where they were gonna have Michael Gambon talk to Harry about girls. And then Rowling had to be like, actually, guys. So they knew before it actually came out. Before Dumbledore came out.
But why
I'm pretty
wouldn't
sure there's like
Dumbledore
a photo of the note that Rowling made on the script.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't see why Dumbledore wouldn't be able to talk to Harry about girls.
Like general aesthetic attraction or...
Yeah.
I give Laura girl advice all the time. All the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's true.
The one thing I thought was probably just worth mentioning before we wrap this up is that J.K. Rowling did kind of walk back Ron and Hermione
Yep.
in a statement that she made.
That blew up the
I guess it's a
fandom.
couple of years ago at this point.
The Wonderland article.
Yeah, when she said that Harry and Hermione probably would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hated this when it
A lot of
happened.
people did.
Yeah, well, because it just felt like retconning, but also it felt like it really feels like Ron has been robbed of the things that make him a good character. Like, I love Rupert Grint. I think he's, his casting as Ron was brilliant, but I felt that the way Ron was portrayed in the movies was so wrong. They turned him into comic relief. They took all of his great lines and gave them to Hermione to make her like the perfect character. And I just feel like over the years, Ron has been robbed of any ability to grow and develop. So like, of course, Ron was a stupid teenage boy in a lot of respects in the books. But when all these years later, you step out and say, yeah, Hermione and Ron would have had a toxic relationship, you're kind of like robbing Ron of the ability to get better and grow.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But at a certain point, that same author agreed that people who ship Harry and Hermione are delusional. So
yes.
But it's a trajectory, right? It's these things, we grow, we reassess. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer there.
No, I don't think so. I know somebody must feel very seriously about this one because of the note, but the ship is Remus and Sirius. This has always been a really, really big ship in the fanfiction community. So who made the Wolfstar Five Eva note?
Had to be
here?
Eric.
Actually, it was the most awkward experience of my life discovering that this was a thing. And it's because it was the on Harry Potter fan trips when we saw the third Harry Potter film. My chaperone, because I was 16, but I needed a chaperone to go on the trip, was this woman named Catherine who later wrote for MuggleNet, and she was the world's biggest Wolfstar shipper. And so we were watching the scene where Gary Oldman is like hugging David Thewlis like tightly and saying, "This is your heart, and I know you," or whatever. Anyway, next to me is the loudest squee. And she just like sits up on the edge of her sheet, is like, and I'm like, what is going on here? And she's like, it's Wolfstar, it's together. And I was like, wow. And all these years later, I can't deny that there are a lot of overtones in Prisoner of Azkaban for the movie, the Quarren film, for Remus and Sirius. There's like a whole other level. You'd know all about the madness within, wouldn't you, Remus? Kind of a thing. So yeah, it's some serious stuff. But actually, I have since come to really feel as though Wolfstar is the most canon compliant ship, the most canon compliant gay ship that exists in Harry Potter. I think that Remus, has a weakness. Remus has a low self-esteem. And it's the group of his friends that really allow him to grow and see his potential. But James is with Lily. Sirius was never really with anybody. Sirius was never really described in the books as being with anybody. So there's, where there's a vacuum, where there's space, readers are going to put things in and assume that Remus and Sirius could have grown pretty close.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of interpretations in fan fiction that sort of like these characters' moments would be when Sirius was trying to trick Snape into going to the Whomping Willow and James saves Snape. And then Remus and Sirius have like a big falling out because Remus is super pissed that Sirius did this. And in all of that drama and commotion, it sort of comes out, and that's where their relationship gets started. So there's a lot of really great writing out there that focuses on the potential of this relationship during their Hogwarts years.
Right. Would you think it would be more when they're transformed or when they're actual humans, or both?
I think that's part of it, is having the secret life that you share together, right? So it's like roaming the grounds at night. Can you imagine how fun that must be? So I think that's like, for the two of them, it could have been more like, I don't know, dating. But there's also the issue of like, whether Remus is himself when he's a werewolf. But still, I think it was all over.
Yeah, agreed.
The other thing that came to mind with Remus was, I remember from Prisoner of Azkaban when he's talking with Harry on the bridge, there's kind of an allusion to something potentially between Remus and Lily, just the way he talks about her. And I think we eventually learn that it's more just due to her kindness as a human being towards him.
Yeah.
But it seemed like he was reflecting back on something that may have been a bit romantic.
And
maybe just from his end.
Yeah, Rowling's comments actually said she said there's a moment in the third Harry Potter film where Remus talks to Harry. It's not a scene in the books, but he touches on something that's so crucial to events of the seventh book. And she said that in advance of the seventh book coming out. And so a lot of people were like, wow, was Remus romantically involved with Lily?
Yeah, and I will say it's also a really common thing to see in fan fiction to sort of have Lily be with a different marauder before she gets with James.
Wow.
So I've seen multiple versions of stories that like have her paired up with Sirius or have her paired up with Remus. I've never seen one where she's paired up with Peter.
Thank gosh.
But it's always like, it's sort of like the precursor to she and James getting together. And it's sometimes, I don't know, sometimes it goes down some weird paths. But yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Peter's just playing with his wand in the corner.
But also, I mean, it's not an unrealistic thing. Like, think about when we were in high school, like, it wasn't uncommon for people to date around their friend groups.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that seems like, looking back, I see how problematic that is and was for hurt feelings and things like that. Like, you don't shit where you eat. But teenagers do it all the time.
Yep. So this is my favorite headcanon one. Huna, and it's Harry/Luna. So 14-year-old me, when Order of the Phoenix came out, I was convinced that Harry and Luna were going to get together just because they share so many deep experiences surrounding being outsiders and then grief over the loss of at least one parent. And you really see Harry at the end of Order of the Phoenix gaining an appreciation for the way Luna exists in the world and thinks about and perceives things. And I thought this would be a really interesting pairing because Luna is such a unique character. And y'all know how I feel about Ginny. And I feel like Luna is so multifaceted that this could be a really interesting pairing.
Huna.
Yeah, I'm curious. Why did you go with Larry? Why is it Huna?
Larry, because then it sounds like a person.
I know.
Well, also, the ship is just called Huna.
Huna. I like it.
Huna.
Yeah.
I like this one. I think we were kind of reflecting on this when we were doing our Order of the Phoenix reread as well. I really loved the arc that, Harry at the beginning of the book is obviously like, what a weirdo. And then by the end, like you said, Laura, he finally sees he finally sees Luna's potential and what she stands for, and that they actually have a lot in common. So
yeah, here's a girl who comes out of nowhere and teaches Harry to see the world a little bit differently. Pure beginnings of romance there.
Mm-hmm. Well, and she doesn't care what other people think of her.
Yeah.
And don't
which
get
is
me
what
wrong,
Harry needs.
Yeah, I love Harry, but he
remember.
cares a little too much what people think of him sometimes.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like there was a lot of potential here. I totally understood when this didn't happen in the books. I was a little bit peeved when they suggested that Neville and Luna got together in the movie because I was like, oh my God, like, this is so predictable, taking like the weird kids in school and putting them together,
Mm-hmm.
But this is forever my one true pairing, Harry and Luna.
I like it.
Yeah, and then there's another one that's pretty popular. It's Luna and Ginny. It's called Linny. I like this one because, again, I think similar to Harry and Luna, it pairs people who are different in a lot of ways, but also have a lot in common with regard to their connection to death.
Yeah.
Just because of, Ginny being possessed by Voldemort and everything. And Luna's openness towards considering things that are, maybe outside of the mainstream. And I like the idea of the banter that would happen between these two.
Yeah, I mean, it's in terms of like where it happened or when it occurred, I can only think of the canon examples that we have. Like the thing, if I were trying to defend Linny and say it was canon, I would point out that Ginny introduced Luna to the group. She's the one she's like, oh yeah, I know this girl, and she's her people call her Loony, but she's cool. She's in my grade, and she's in Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
I think there's more brewing there. They would have interacted when they had classes together. And also Ginny often defends people in her grade from making fun of Luna. That there's a line in there somewhere about that. So she is always one to kind of come to Luna's rescue a little bit and say, no, she's all right. Like, you got to hear her out. She's interesting. She sees the value in Luna sooner than everyone else. And I think that may be due to having feelings for this person.
Yeah, I think you could make a case for that in a fan fiction. And certainly there are plenty of examples of this out there. A lot of them, at least the ones that I've seen, seem to pair them up post Hogwarts. So in some sort of like alternate universe where Harry and Ginny don't get together.
Mm.
So yeah, I like it. But we want to hear about y'all's favorite pairings. And if you have any great fan fictions you'd like to send our way, we'd be interested in looking at those too.
Yeah, we're getting some recommendations in the live stream on Patreon.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, guys.
We have a new sponsor this week who I think are perfect for our listeners because we are all very nostalgic on this show. And I think that's one reason why people love MuggleCast. You feel like a kid again. Cereal is another thing that reminds us of being a kid. Grabbing the box, pouring a bowl, playing the game on the back of the box. Growing up, cereal was one of the best parts of being a kid, but I had to give it up because I started paying attention to the nutrition facts, and I was like, oh gosh, I do not need to start my mornings like this. Healthy breakfast doesn't have to be boring. Magic Spoon has the amazing flavors you love, but without all the bad stuff. Check this out. 0 sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. It has only 140 calories a serving. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, and GMO-free. They have an amazing variety pack to suit anyone. The 4 flavors in it are cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter. Peanut butter is a new flavor that they just launched, and it is delicious. Don't just take my word for it. Magic Spoon has also sponsored another one of our podcasts, and listeners wrote in to tell us after trying Magic Spoon themselves that they loved it too. Jenny said, thanks for the rec. I've been low-carbing for a while and missed cereal. And John said, it's really good and tasty. I'm eating it while watching Saturday morning cartoons. And by the way, they've got games on the back of the cereal boxes too. You will truly feel like a kid again. We want you to try these. Go to magicspoon.com/MuggleCast to grab a variety pack and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code MuggleCast at checkout to save $5 off your order. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, no problem. They'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/MuggleCast. And use the code MuggleCast to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this episode. You have saved breakfast for me. I thought we could do this BuzzFeed quiz together. Which Hogwarts house is your soulmate in?
Oh, all right.
And BuzzFeed has a fun feature where we can actually
Andrew, you're right here.
Where we can actually take a quiz together. So I want you 3 to click that link in the doc. Okay, so the first question. What's your Hogwarts house? So everybody just pick your normal answer.
Got it.
Ravenclaw.
Slytherin.
Hufflepuff.
What's your favorite class at Hogwarts? I'm going to say Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Oh, Transfiguration all the way.
Same. Transfiguration.
Yeah, if you can get good at it, that would be the coolest class of all time.
Which character would you bring back from the dead? And the options are Fred, Sirius, Remus, or Dobby.
Oh, Dobby.
Yeah, they have such a sad picture of Dobby, too. So, I feel like you have to click him.
I'm picking Sirius.
Picking Remus.
I'm saying Dobby as well. Which Harry Potter sweet would you eat? chocolate frogs, birdie bots, every flavor beans, cauldron cakes, or licorice wands.
You know,
I've had
chocolate
2 of
frogs.
these.
can't go wrong with chocolate.
All the way.
Yeah, I'm saying the frogs too.
I'm going with the beans. They're good for your heart.
Which character do you most relate to? The options are Harry, Ron, Hermione, or Luna.
Oh, gosh.
100%.
Luna.
I might say Harry.
I'm going to say Harry too. Lastly, who do you want your soulmate to be most like? Now, I hope this answer doesn't heavily weight
weighted, yeah.
our
These
answer.
are like those
yeah.
house quizzes that are like, are you feeling snaky? It's like, ooh.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I want my soulmate to be most like Draco. I'm
I
sorry.
say Ginny.
What about Draco makes you want?
Well, he's a good-looking dude. He is smart, as we spoke about today. He's got some things going for him.
Yeah,
I'll go with
I'll
Fred.
say Luna. That's of these people.
I got Gryffindor.
All right. Are you happy
I'm
with
dating
that?
a Ravenclaw. Guess I have
But
to.
are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm very happy with dating the Ravenclaw that I'm dating.
I got Ravenclaw.
Okay. And Micah, you are a Ravenclaw, right?
Yep.
So are you pleased by that? Do you want to date somebody in your own house?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I got Slytherin, and I am in Slytherin. So, like, yeah, I guess. I feel like my Draco answer at the end really weighed my result. But
Yeah.
I guess I want that. I definitely didn't want Hufflepuff or Ravenclaw. I was hoping for Gryffindor, but
Well, I got Ravenclaw as my answer. I also am a Ravenclaw, but my life partner is a Slytherin, so I guess we got some things to talk about.
all right. Well, Eric and Laura have some things to work. Actually, I do too, because I'm with a Gryffindor. Well, I did say I wanted a Gryffindor answer. I think I'm going to believe this quiz and just say I should be with a Slytherin. Darn.
And we're ending
downloading
relationships.
Tinder now.
To celebrate Valentine's this year, the MuggleCast host 75% broke up with their current relationship.
I know.
And we downloaded Tinder and we said, you must be this house.
No, but this is so
All right, we'll
boring. I don't want my partner to be in my same house. That's so boring.
Yeah. Something nice about relationships are the differences you have
Yeah.
with somebody else. Yeah, I agree. And I probably shouldn't be with a Slytherin because they would probably like go and cheat on me or something like that.
Aren't you a Slytherin?
Yeah. All right. So moving on, it's time for Quizzitch.
Last week's question: what statue resides next to the prefect's bathroom? The correct answer is Boris the Bewildered. Correct answers were submitted by Katie Jane, Ning Chi, Aisha Clark Watson, Time Traveling Unicorn, Lance Dance, Hallow Wolf, Bort Voldemort, Zoom Tarot, Riley Reardon, Ellie Friga, ex-Nigerian, Nadia Stephanie, Jason, Robbie, Stacy, and the Seas. And for next week, how far did Harry throw the gnome that bit him?
Nice. How appropriate for Valentine's Day. That's my one true pairing, Harry and the Garden Gnome.
Love at first bite.
Submit your correct answer to us over on Twitter. Use hashtag Quizzitch and @reply @MuggleCast. We got a DM with a correct answer and I ignored it.
Oh my God, Eric.
Wow. You're rough, dude.
Ringo Starr wants to help you out, Eric.
This is a serious message to everybody watching my update right now. Peace and love, peace and love. I want to tell you, please, after the 20th of October, do not send fan mail to any address that you have. Nothing will be signed after the 20th of October. If that has a date on the envelope, it's going to be tossed. I'm warning you with peace and love, but I have too much to do. So no more fan mail. Thank you, and no objects to be signed. Nothing. Anyway, peace and love, peace and love.
Twitter replies only, nothing else. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love.
I'm warning you with peace and love.
So
Okay,
basically, what this means is that people can still DM you until October 20th.
Yeah.
Quizzitch.
Or email or voicemail.
All right.
You know,
Nothing.
Shout out to Cyrillic Martin, who DM'd the correct answer to
There you
Quizzitch the
go.
last 2
You
weeks
just
in a
opened the
row.
floodgates, though. Now everybody's going to hit up our
No.
DMs.
No.
Slide into those DMs.
Look,
Okay,
Ringo
You should for Valentine's
Ringo
Day.
left himself open, though. He should have said a year, because now, depending on when you play that,
It's not October 20th yet.
it's not October 20th yet.
I'm warning you with peace and love, peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. And he's putting up the peace sign too. He loves them, but please stop. I don't want to sign anything anymore. That was actually pretty nice of Ringo to sign anything that was sent into his mailbox.
Oh, can you imagine? Yeah, I mean, carpal tunnel is a real condition.
Yeah. But I mean, he's a Beatle. I bet he got a ton of mail he was signing. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us today for our 500th episode. Here's the 500 more. I'm moderately confident that we'll one day hit episode 1000, especially if we have a Harry Potter TV series or 8 in our future.
Oh, yeah, TV series would be perfect for that. I see us going to about 777.
Oh, that'd be appropriate. Until then, if you have any feedback about today's discussion, you can email mugglecast@gmail.com or use the contact form on mugglecast.com.
Unless it's
You can
Quizzitch,
also-
then you just have to use Twitter.
Yes. Peace and love. Peace and love. Or you can call us 1-920-3-MUGGLE. No Quizzitch answers that way, please. Peace and love. Peace and love. Or send a voice memo to mugglecast@gmail.com. Again, no Quizzitch that way either. Peace and love. Peace and love. We'd also appreciate if you took a minute to rate or review us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to MuggleCast. And thank you to everybody who does review us. One person was critical of my impersonations last week. They thought they were a little offensive, but that person did still give us 5 stars. So I appreciate that. And your feedback has been taken into account.
And before October 20th of this year, you know what? I want to remind people that they can still send snail mail to the MuggleCast P.O. Box, which is located at 4044 North Lincoln Avenue in Chicago, 60618, and send your love and not Quizzitch answers there.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
You can follow us on social media as well. We are MuggleCast on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, all of these options. Help us grow our numbers so that the next time we look at MuggleCast by the numbers, we have some bigger numbers to share with everybody. And also, we would love your support on Patreon, patreon.com/MuggleCast. Again, we're at 500, episode 500 today, thanks to our patrons. And thanks to everybody who's tuned in this morning, joining us for our 500th episode. And we have this new AMA feature as well. We just launched this a week ago. One of the 4 MuggleCasters here are going to do an Ask Me Anything each month on video. And that's a really fun new feature that we're looking forward to rolling out. Eric already did the first one, and I saw a lot of great feedback.
Should we announce who's coming this month?
I think we don't know genuinely. Who wants to do it? I'll do it. I'll do it.
It's Andrew. Andrew's doing it this month.
It's Drew.
It's me.
Or is it
Send in your
Cletus?
questions. Nothing too personal. Peace and love. Peace and love. And I think once a year, we're going to all hop on Zoom together and do an AMA together, and that'll change the dynamic in the answers.
I gotta say, I was thrilled by the AMA. I thought we got some really good questions. They ranged from book questions to, non-book questions. So I thought it was great.
And last but not least, thank you for listening to today's episode. Happy 500 once again. Here's the 500 more. I'm Andrew.
I'm Eric.
I'm Micah.
And I'm Laura.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. And thank you.
Hey MuggleCast, this is Allie. I'm currently living in Florida, and I was just calling to say congrats on 500 episodes. That is such an amazing milestone, and you guys have just been putting in the most work. You guys have been doing an amazing job all these years. The first time I listened to you guys was episode 50. You were actually the first podcast I ever listened to. I remember burning that episode on a CD because I just could not stop laughing at Andrew and Jamie singing your song, and all the hijinks you guys got up to. So I listened to that episode a lot, but you guys have always been there for me through my teenage years, through my adult puberty years where I have no idea what I'm doing. But no matter how confused I am at life, I always know that MuggleCast is there for me to not only like analyze the books and get into these hard-hitting topics surrounding Harry Potter, but also like digesting what's happening in the real world and how it relates to the books, especially with all these political things going on. So thank you so much for always just being there for me and for putting out such wonderful podcasts. You guys are the best. And here's to 500 more. Thank you so much. Bye.
This is Drew from the Gamer News Radio Podcast, and I just want to congratulate MuggleCast on making it to 500 episodes. That is absolutely amazing, and not many podcasts could actually say they have made it to 500 episodes. Here's to 500 more episodes of MuggleCast. Keep up the good work, guys.
Yo, I've been listening to MuggleCast since I was 12. I'm 25 now. I think Micah's really funny. I think Micah's a really funny guy. I don't know why that's so funny. He just seems like a really chill dude, so he really calms me down. And yeah, I've listened to it when I've been on a bus, when I've been on a plane in Japan, in America, flying from Vegas to New York on that 5-hour flight. When they used to say, turn off electronic devices, I would keep listening to MuggleCast. I didn't give So yeah, it's been fun. Hopefully things continue.
Hi MuggleCast, happy 500! I found the show shortly after moving from England to Canada, and as an awkward Harry Potter loving 9-year-old, I didn't have a lot of friends. Luckily for me, this coincided with the dawn of podcasting, and the first one I ever downloaded was MuggleCast. Hearing your voices really helped to get me through that time. I followed you from MuggleCast to Imprint to Smartmouths to Millennial, and recently I found myself back here again. We're under a lockdown in Canada, so catching up on the episodes I've missed has been such an escape from the world in a time that I think we need it more than ever. It's not only a nostalgia trip, but the content is just as fantastic as ever. I'm also a writer, and my goal one day is for Andrew to think that my novels are worth starting a podcast about. So thank you for always being in my pocket. Happy 500.
Hey MuggleCast, this is Shalaria. Just wanted to say congratulations on your 500th episode. So I came to Harry Potter around 2000 as a young high school English teacher. And note, I originally pictured Harry Potter as animation. And I came to MuggleCast from Imprint around 2006 and am still a devoted Ravenclaw listening every week. You talked about early memories. I went to the 2007 midnight release with a bunch of friends, and I was in my 30s at the time, and my kids were staying with Grandma. They are now teenage fans, another Ravenclaw and a Hufflepuff, both of whom started the series in middle school. We were firm believers in reading the books before watching the movies, and still are. So I just wanted to say thank you for all the years of news, analysis, and geek chic discussions. Thank you, and congrats.
Hey MuggleCast, Yasmina here. I'm more of a recent listener. I have been incorporating your podcast into my daily routine, so I truly hope you guys don't run out of ideas. I just wanted to congratulate you guys on your 500th episode. What an amazing accomplishment. I have truly enjoyed every single episode, and I really appreciate the uniqueness and the different inputs that make your episodes much more interesting to listen to. Just wanted to thank you for paving the path for and inspiring many others to start their own Harry Potter podcasts. I can't wait to see what you guys have in store for the upcoming episodes. And again, congratulations on this very important and huge milestone. Bye-bye.
Hi MuggleCast, Tom from England here. Happy 500th episode. It's crazy how long it's been. I've been listening since 2008, so it's been quite a journey and excited to see where you go in the future. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Hey MuggleCast, it's Lottie. I just wanted to hop on and say congratulations on 500 episodes. I remember 15 years ago doing MuggleCast sleepovers with my friends, and now I'm 28 and still listening to you guys. And I love it so much. You guys are wonderful. Congratulations.
Hey MuggleCast, Emily from Germany here. Just wanted to drop in and say congratulations. I really enjoy your podcast. It's the best podcast ever.
Hey MuggleCast, it's Becky from Sydney, Australia here. I just wanted to congratulate you all on reaching your 500th episode and for getting this far without ever having the author on the show. I guess you guys are just really ahead of your time with that decision, just like you were ahead of your time entering the podcast scene. I've been listening since 2006 and it's been awesome seeing how far you guys have come, and I look forward to hearing all your future episodes. Love the show.
Hey MuggleCast, my name is Sarah Beth. I'm a relatively new Harry Potter fan as well as MuggleCast fan. I just want to congratulate y'all on 500 episodes and thank y'all for providing a place for Harry Potter fans to deep dive intellectually and completely goof off. I feel like y'all have become my friends over the past several months of listening, so congrats again and keep fighting the good fight.
Hey MuggleCast, this is Audrey from Indianapolis. Congrats on 500 episodes. That's absolutely crazy that you've recorded 500 and I've listened to 500 of your episodes. Thanks so much for being there every week, and here's to another 500.
Hi guys, I just wanted to congratulate you on your 500th episode and let you know I've heard all of them many times, subliminally or consciously, because I have MuggleCast playing through my headphones every night. You are like my lullaby. I enjoy your episodes so much. I find you and your show so entertaining and your voices are very soothing. So if I do wake up in the middle of the night, it just brings me right back to that happy place, and I so appreciate it. I'm so grateful for your hard work all these years, and cheers to another 500. Take care.